Go.
Hi everybody, so we're back as promised, episode 1B, continuation of how to make a pizza. So like we saw in the first show, the important ingredients for a pizza starts with a great sauce. So here's the sauce we started a bit earlier. For my personal taste, I added some oregano, but like I mentioned before in the previous episode, oregano is optional to taste. So we have basically all the ingredients required to do the pizza now. We have the sauce, we have some farina, we have our dough, we have our pizza platters because we don't have a stone, our ingredients, and obviously the grated cheese that we just freshly did. So the first step you need to do is to prepare the dough. I cheated a little. I did not prepare my own dough. I went to buy it at a bakery, and we'll be simply using the freshly made dough this morning and doing the pizza. So we take out the dough. Something that's very important to make a good pizza and ensure it does not stick to your hands or stick to the platter is that you work with a lot of farina. So you take the dough, you put some flour, or farina as we say in Italian, and we put quite a bit to ensure it's not sticky, turning it around on every side. And once we have enough and we feel that the dough is not sticking to your fingers anymore, you could start working the dough. So a good pizza man always works his dough by hand. We don't use machines to flatten the dough, and we especially don't use rollers. So basically with the tip of your finger, you press down the dough without making any holes or tearing it. Moving it around, keeping a nice circle, and ensuring that you do it on both sides. Keep doing that a couple of times on both sides, pressing it down, always making sure it keeps a nice circle. And once you feel that the dough is fairly thin and doesn't need to be pressed no more, it's time to stretch it. So how do you stretch it? Take the dough, do a fist, put it in your hand, lift it up, ensure we have a bit of flour here. If you need extra flour, and as mentioned before, make sure you have enough flour on your pan for the same reasons we said for your fingers, for it not to stick. If it sticks, we're in trouble. In the meanwhile, before starting, we preheated the oven at 450, 475 degrees. Once you have your dough, you just basically let it fall and it's stretched by itself. You'll stretch it very slowly to make sure you don't tear it. And if you do tear it, like I have a tear right now, I'll show you exactly what to do. So if you do tear it, you put it back down. You see the hole right here? You take it, stretch it on top, and you push it down to cover the hole and make sure it sticks. So you press it, and the hole is gone. Take it back up. And now the magical part. We flip the dough like we see in the movies. Are you ready? Take a good look. Flipping it, flipping it, flipping it. And the dough is stretched. Once the dough is stretched, we lay it on our cooking sheet or specific for a pizza. And we're ready to assemble it. So you put it, the flour underneath, start with the sauce, always putting the sauce in the middle, and then going in circles to add the sauce. If there's not enough, you add once again in the middle, and you keep pressing it side to side. Make sure you put enough sauce as it dries out while you're cooking it. Second ingredient is gonna be the cheese. I have my sous chef, Anthony, who's gonna come and help me now to complete the first pizza. So putting the cheese equally on this side. Hey Anthony, say hi to the camera.
Hello.
Once you put the cheese, you could stretch it a little more. With the extra weight of the cheese, you could complete the pizza and stretch it out for it to go side to side and get a bit more pizza. So the first pizza is the kids' pizza, my son's selection. So for the first pizza, here are some of the ingredients. He'll be doing simply a pepperoni pizza. Here you go. We basically repeat. We'll be making 2 pizzas today. These are large size pizza doughs. So we'll be making 2 pizzas that are 14 inches or large. So basically we repeat the same steps with the second ball of dough. Sticking to the plastic, and that's why it's important to work with a lot of flour. So adding some flour, don't be afraid, more is better. Make sure it doesn't stick. Turn it on every side. And as before, once we have enough flour on it, we start pressing down the dough with our fingers before stretching it in the air. So as we saw the first pizza, with our ingredients that are here, basically cheese and pepperoni. And the second pizza we have is gonna be with some onions, some peppers, and some Italian sausage. So right before starting the dough, I had all my prep work done, so all the ingredients were ready. And I also prepared my sausage, Italian sausage, that is here. So that will be also part of the second pizza. So once again, taking it, stretching it, letting it stretch out on our fists. Simply stretching it. If you want to be a little creative and daring, have some fun, you do the magic. Not too high, we don't want it to stick to the roof. And once you're done, same as before, taking the pizza sheet, non-stick pizza sheet, adding some flours. Very important to add the flour. Don't have some big lumps, but just a bit of powder everywhere to make sure it doesn't stick. So you put it down, same as before, putting the pizza till the edges as best as possible. If it doesn't reach the edges, we'll simply stretch it out once we put the sauce and the cheese. So like I mentioned before, putting the sauce in the middle and stretching it out towards the sides. More is better than less. We don't want a dry pizza. We'd rather have a wet pizza than a dry pizza. Alright, so here we go. So in the meanwhile, the oven is already preheated at 450 degrees. We'll just finish our second pizza. Actually, in the meanwhile, this one's ready. So here we go, the final product for pizza number 1. Put that in the oven. 450 to 500 degrees. 450, 475, I would say. So we take the pizza, add the cheese, nibbling it little by little to avoid clumps or lumps. Always to taste. Something that's really important is you always have the choice of putting the cheese you like. In this case we have mozzarella, but oftentimes if you want to be a little bit more daring and sophisticated, you could use bocconcini, or in Italy, mozzarella di bufalo, which is the classic Napoleon pizza. So there goes the first ingredient. We'll add on the sausage and spread it out. So there's the sausage. So we'll just spread that out. Don't be afraid to use your fingers. the onions. Make sure they're all separated. And some red peppers. Now one thing, a little trick. Here in Quebec we have something that's called an all-dress pizza. Basically with pepperoni, peppers, and mushrooms. One thing that is sin in Italy is the use of green onions. We don't really believe in green onions. Sorry, not green peppers. The key is always red peppers. They're tastier, they're healthier, and they're sweeter. So there you go. That's the second pizza. Sausage, onions, and red peppers. We have a double rack oven, so we can put both pizzas at the same time. Pizzas will go in the oven at 450, 475. We'll cook for about 15-20 minutes. Every oven is different, so make sure to check up on it after 5-6 minutes and see if it's ready. Hope you enjoyed the pizza making part 2. I'd like to thank my sous chef Anthony, helped me out with the pepperoni, and more importantly, the official camera woman, my daughter Alyssa, who's 9 years old. Say hi. Take care.
Hi.
Take care, everybody. See you hopefully episode 2, recipe to be determined. Take care.